Thank you, listeners, for joining us for Tuesday's edition of Elko Live here on KELK. As we do on Tuesday, we meet in advance of any regular council meetings. We kind of fill in the blanks the other Tuesdays with city department news, and it's a great opportunity to find out what's going on in the community. And so for our year-end city program, meaning this is the last city council meeting for the year, we have Jan Baum. And Jan, you have brought our financial services director, Julie Davis, right?
Yes, absolutely. So this is the meeting, the last meeting, like you said, the only meeting in December, last meeting of the year. And Julie charged through with the audit and leads that whole process for the city of Elko. And she just does an amazing job. And the city, you know, we're pretty transparent and pretty frugal with our funds, our public funds. And so I think the audit will represent that. So, we got a clean opinion and, really not even any recommendations except for some immaterial one. So, she did a great job.
Thanks, Jan. I know I was looking through there, not being an accountant, but just covering meetings for a long time and found the same thing you just suggested. There were no errors, nothing of note, of major mention. And in fact, these accountants, they come in with professional scrutiny, if you will. So they're going to look for issues. And everybody knows not to take any of these issues personally. But Julie Davis certainly came through. And I wanted to mention before we start talking to Julie that she did it in a shorter time frame because of the government shutdown. Didn't have all those documents that she normally does, right, Jan?
Absolutely, yes. And in fact, they almost extended the audit presentation because of the government shutdown, but we powered through and got that the audit report issued, and so that's nice that we can just kind of go forward in January with the audit report already issued and presented to the City Council.
Nice. So that's on the agenda today. We'll get through we'll tick some items off that are on the top of the agenda before we get to that audit presentation, and then we'll give Julie some time to kind of dive in. We said we'd talk about, kind of summarizing the city's financial picture going into the new year, pointing out if there are any problem areas, not with the audit, but with finances, with incoming, with funds available, and what some of those issues might be, and as well as good news. There's some good news, I think, with some enterprise funds, which we've been waiting for that for a long time. So that's great.
Absolutely, yes. Our golf enterprise fund is really performing, and I think that Rick Longhurst being at the golf course and helping through that, and the club at Ruby View, the restaurant does a good job as well, and both of those are contributing to that fund. And an enterprise fund, which Julie will get into, is kind of like a little mini business, and they're supposed to cover their expenses and not necessarily make money, but cover their expenses, and if we do make money, then we have additional funds to put into the enterprise fund in the future. So some very positive results there.
That's great. It's always good news when you don't have to augment the general fund. That's key. And we also have the benefit of our city manager, Jan Baum, having been the financial services director, been in that position for a long time before being elevated to the position. And so we appreciate having your eyes on this as well and being able to present and to explain to the council, because I know that they're the ones, the buck stops with them, literally. So.
Absolutely. They have to accept the audit report and the financials as presented. And if they have any questions, then we need to be able to, to answer those questions and make sure that they are educated on the process.
All right, Jan. City Council meets in regular session at 4 o'clock today at City Hall. There's some exciting news right near the top of the agenda. The Mayor's Arts Awards will be announced, Jan.
Yes.
And I don't think we're going to spill the beans on the radio, because that's the fun of going to the meeting.
Absolutely. Yes. Or tuning in.
Yes.
You can tune in as well on the GoToMeeting link, or just view it. And so this will be a fun presentation at the beginning of the meeting to recognize some of the different members of our community that contribute to the arts and culture of our community, and we really value their input, and so it'll be fun. that'll be a fun way to start the meeting.
Very nice. And again, that's at 4:00 today, the Mayor's Arts Award presentation. And that'll be followed by the audit. But as we said, the presentation of all those financial statements, we'll come back to that one. And we do want to, I think it's in relationship to the Arts and Culture Advisory Board, they have awarded the semi-quincentennial art project to Great Basin College to provide a metal sculpture downtown. So that's going to be on the agenda as well, maybe accepting that or approving the agreement.
Yes, exactly. I am excited for that piece of art. I've seen pictures of it, and it just looks, the concept of it, and I love that the students at Great Basin College will be preparing that and building it, and I think it'll just add real value to the corridor downtown. And the project is $10,000, and that's what our city budget has already budgeted for this project. And so, I think that'll be a good item.
And it is a project of the students at GBC in the welding department, Jan, and they got back to crunching their numbers after they were initially accepted for the project by the Arts and Culture Advisory Board. And then they said, wait, we need some equipment, so they need a little extra money. And the great news is the county commission also contributed $10,000.
Wasn't that great?
Yes.
Yes.
Very
I love
nice.
that we're partnering on that project. And and so really all three entities coming together to make this happen, Great Basin College and the county commission and then the city council.
And that's not all. I understand the Chamber of Commerce will go before Arts and Culture because they are eyeing that second, the runner-up project, if you will, so that we'll have even more commemorative art in our beautifully renovated downtown Elko.
Yeah, absolutely. So so to have both projects, because they were both really great projects, well thought out, and so what a gift it would be to have both.
Yep. So that'll be discussed, obviously, yet to come. And, in all fairness, it's so hard to decide when you're looking at art projects, and both of them have wonderful qualities. And I think it's, in all fairness, to say that probably the GBC project had the hometown advantage, but it's okay.
Yeah,
it happens.
That's okay, right?
Yeah.
And it's students, doing something that will be put downtown. It'll be there forever. And as a student of GBC, they'll be able to go back and look at that. And this is just a little too much information, but the picture in the airport. My son is in that because it was made by GBC, and he happened to be in the preschool at that time. And so I think that is something. Is Livy in that too?
I think she might be. I'll have to double check with her. Yes,
so
there is
just that hometown advantage.
A local connection.
Just a neat local connection, and GBC made that as well. And so those students, I would think, could come and say, "Hey, I was part of that at one time," and I think it was during 9/11.
Right. Well, so Livy would not have been in preschool yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But your son is a teacher now at Elko High School, right?
He is.
Yes.
And can I do a little plug
You can,
for him?
because it's Thursday.
Tomorrow. Yes, Thursday, 2 days. So he is the FBLA for Future Business Leaders of America. He's the FBLA advisor as well as a business teacher at the Elko High School, and his hospitality and tourism class, along with the FBLA, are doing a Merry Quizmas, which is a family trivia night, and it's Thursday at 6 p.m. in the old gym at Elko High School. And if anybody's interested, I don't know. Let's see. You could go.
They have a QR code.
They have a QR code. I would think you could call Elko High School and get information on that as well. They have a little website where you can pay to go. And anyway, so if anybody's interested, it'll be a fun little event.
It really will. Thanks, Jan, for reminding us. I have had more comments on that radio show because people were so impressed with those students in particular.
I listened to it a couple times.
Yeah.
It was a great little show. And like you said, it gives you hope for the future.
Definitely.
They were really professional, and they did a really great job. So thank you for doing that, Lori.
Absolutely. No, we're happy to help our students. So that brings us right back around again to community participation in all of these projects that we have, whether it's, the arts, the Mayor's Arts Awards are going out today. You can be on hand when they select future art projects and nominees for these arts awards. But we have really come full circle in the community where I can remember there's a mural on the fronton in the city park. and that was that is of the tree of Guernica, and a local artist who was dear to many in the community. She has passed, but that beautiful mural was one of the first. It's painted on the fronton of the Basque handball court.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so
what a great little piece of history,
isn't
right?
it? Though,
and that was our first mural.
It was the first mural. I do believe so. I mean, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but I remember it was a little tough to convince some folks that a mural is an appropriate thing. And now look at the town. So
and now look at the town. We're hopping with them.
Yes.
Exactly. And I think that Catherine Wines was a big voice behind that. She used to be on the Arts and Culture Advisory Board, and she's not on the board any longer, but she was a big part of advocate for the murals, I believe.
Yep. And she's working on a separate project for the America 250 too. So we're going to have yet another art installation, and I think it'll be in the county office. So
wonderful.
Very cool. In the administrative building. So you can see how easy it is to get excited about art and talking about art. We'll get back into the nuts and bolts of city service, the Silver Street Rehabilitation Project. Is it just me, or did we just do one of these?
We just did an overlay.
Oh, okay.
So we just did an overlay, and so this is just the design for the rehabilitation. And so, this will be the design for the project, and then when we do our upcoming budget, we will have some priorities put in place, and whether that project goes through in fiscal year 2027 or we have the design and are ready for that. But it's just the design for it.
Okay, just the design on the council. But this should result, these are some big improvements that will also enhance business, pedestrian safety, just transportation in general. It includes replacing the concrete medians and aprons, installing new sidewalks where there's currently no sidewalks. So that's exciting.
It's a big project. It'll be similar, I would think, to the Cedar Creek project, or Cedar Creek. Well, that was a blast from the past. The Cedar Street project, and where they, just really replaced all infrastructure along that road. And it took us a few years to do Cedar Street. And so I think this project will be similar. Talking with Jan Baum, our city manager. We have Julie Davis waiting in the wings. She's going to be talking about the audit coming up. She's waiting patiently. But this next, under new business, this could be kind of a big thing with all the downtown improvements now that we've made. The turning radius has been changed at 4th Street. Let's see. And so that means altering the current parade route. Now, some people have a hard time adjusting to change, Jan, but absolutely,
this has been well thought out.
It has been thought out. Usually with the parade route, there is a lot of input. So there's the police chief has some input on that, the street superintendent, and then also the city planner. And so what is happening is there are big vehicles that are always in the parade, especially the Parade of Lights. I don't know if that's what it's called this year.
It is, yep.
Okay, so the Parade of Lights.
Snowflake Festival.
The Snowflake, yeah, that's right. So usually they, so one of our vendors in town, one of our local businesses called and said, well, with the new rules on how big your vehicle can be, because of the bulb outs on the end of 4th Street, they can't make the turn with their truck and trailer. And so with a lot of discussion and between all of these groups, we decided to extend the parade 1 block. The one pickle with this is going out to 3rd means if somebody is coming into town from Mountain City Highway and Idaho Street, they won't be able to turn right to get away from the parade, turn right onto 3rd Street. And so we'll have some signboards and some traffic safety traffic safety calming devices, things out there to inform drivers that there is a parade going on. It lasts about 1 to 2 hours, and we'll give it a try. And if it doesn't work, we can always go back to the old parade route. But there were some people in the community that were pretty passionate about being included in the parade.
Yeah, it makes sense. And so, again, parade organizers, the Elko Area Chamber, They are working hard to make sure everybody is aware. But again, it's going to extend rather than shorten. It could create some congestion issues there with 3rd Street. But again, we'll kind of see how it goes, right?
We'll see how it goes. And council hasn't approved it yet.
Oh,
and
right.
so that's why we haven't really said that's their route. That's why we're bringing it to city council to see if they're in favor of extending it that one block.
All right, that's on the agenda. So new parade route. Again, it's to accommodate the larger vehicles that really do make up so much of the parade of lights, because it's easy to decorate and to see all the lights from those large, sometimes they're even semis or, right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that probably happens a little around the fair parade as well,
Sure.
right? They have some bigger vehicles. And so, so we'll see what the council thinks about this.
All right. That's coming up on the 4:00 agenda for the city council meeting. Also something long awaited. This is the operation agreement for the new recreation center between the Boys and Girls Clubs and the city of Elko.
Yes. So the agreement, this letter of understanding was signed, my heavens, almost 3 years ago. And anyway, so back when the recreation center was just an idea, the city council and the county commission and I believe the Boys and Girls Club signed a letter of understanding. And within this letter of understanding included that once the city of Elko was no longer in the pool business, that the city would contribute to the Boys and Girls Club to operate the pool an amount of $400,000 a year. And included in the packet is like the last 5 years of results or budget for the city of Elko pool, and you can see that the city of Elko, it costs us between $400,000 and $500,000 a year to operate the pool. So the $400,000 made sense. And so we are asking council if they want to go forward with this agreement. And if they do, then since the lease for the indoor pool begins January 1st, 2026, then we would prorate that amount and pay the Boys and Girls Club $200,000 for the January through June period.
And it's very clear. You can go online to elkocity.com, drill down to agendas, find today's packet, and you can read the agreement yourself. It is all laid out that the Boys and Girls Club Recreation Center will remain open and accessible to the general public at an affordable price for public recreational swimming, subject to reasonable rules and regulations, and the club will make all reasonable efforts to make sure it remains equitable. That's the only thing that people are still nervous about, is saying, will we still all be able to swim? Will we all still be able to use the center? And yes, that's always been the goal of the city.
Absolutely. It will not be just for, the children who are being serviced by the Boys and Girls Club. It will be open to the public, and I believe there'll be public membership. At a couple meetings ago, I wasn't at that meeting. I think I was at the League of Cities or something, but I believe that Rusty Barr came to the council with a fee schedule.
He did.
And a book of exactly all the services that will be available at the rec center. And so I think it was very comprehensive and kind of explained everything. We went for a tour of the rec center last week. It was awesome. It's really coming along. So
exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So the rates are published. It's all inclusive. So get your hands on that rate schedule, and then think about maybe making a gift of one of those memberships. So I think they're yearly.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
That'd
especially
be a great gift.
Yeah, for a family, for an individual, for children, and you can benefit the Boys and Girls Clubs at the same time. And then the city, honestly, is off the hook because, as you said, at least $400,000 or more. We have our financial services director here if anybody doubts that the pool costs that much. Plus, it was time to close it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The city council was going to have to put millions of dollars into it or build a new one. And so this was a great partnership.
So next on the agenda, and we are getting close to our report on the audit, but it is important to note that there is I guess it's a petition. That's right. It's a petition coming before the council to rename a baseball field. And I think we only have one left, and there seems to be a great deal of community support to name this for Mr. Gaylan Christean.
Yes. So the passing of Gaylan Christean was devastating, I think, for a lot of people in the youth sports community. And so this petition came to us probably a month and a half ago, and so James Wiley has accommodated that and helping them through the process of getting community support, showing that to the council, and so this will be the first step of renaming that field. There will still be Lower Cump Field, so there will still be a Cump Field. Apparently, Upper Cump was never officially named. It was just, unofficially Upper Cump, and so this will be the first step. And then, like you said, I think it's the last field we really have. So going forward, James Wiley, we're starting to talk about, different solutions we can have, because we need to continue to commemorate people who contribute to our youth sports. And so that'll be something we work on.
Yeah, so there is an established field naming policy, and so you can find that also in the agenda packet. And again, there's a lot of support for this effort. And I think if I'm recalling correctly from the reading I did on the agenda, Mr. Christine, he benefited from the Cump baseball program. So it's like the legacy continues.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and he helped coach the high school baseball team who practices up there. And yeah, absolutely. Just the circle keeps going.
Yeah, so that's a great consideration that'll be on the agenda today. So we will be able to report back on that. And then we're getting to the public hearing portion at 5:30, and these will be second readings of both our fire code and building codes, and we spent some time talking about those.
We absolutely have. I think you even had a whole program on nothing but building codes, but we just really want to make sure that the public, that we have full transparency, the public is aware of what's going on and the impacts, and we also had a business impact statement that we sent out to all the businesses, and so this is the last step. And then, if the council approves and the public hearing goes through, then we're hopeful that the building codes, the fire codes, and the new fee schedule will all be implemented effective January 1st.
All right.
With a 6-month.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Grace period. Please note, 6-month grace period for the building and fire codes. So if there are builders that are in the middle of a building or anything like that, there is a 6-month grace period.
And we did hear during several of these meetings and presentations that there are even some builders coming to the city saying, I've got my plans, I'm ready for the new codes. So they're ready to go as well. Right. So good news. Well, anything to add to what we've been talking about, Jan, before we turn it over to Julie?
No, I think I'm good. I feel bad I took a lot of her time. So, but yeah,
no, thank you. And Julie, I know
you.
I've seen you make these presentations before, so we appreciate your time being here. So thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Julie Davis is the city's financial services director, and this audit is going to be presented, and this was an independent review, so it's important to know all of your good work was scrutinized by an outside firm. So how did we do, Julie?
Yeah, so we're happy to report a clean audit from an independent auditor. We go through that every year, and we'll publish these as soon as council accepts the financials. We'll get them on our website for everyone to review. I know the financials can be a little overwhelming, so a good place to start is the management's discussion and analysis. The first few pages, the intent of that is to summarize all the other financial pages into just a few. It gives you high level of capital projects, including ARPA, changes from prior years, summary of expenses, and just the summary of the state of financials.
Well, we know you've been on top of this, and you have been reminding the council of our decline in sales and use tax revenue, which is such an important part of local government, Julie, and I wondered if you wanted to give us an update on that, and then we're going to go over those enterprise funds like you talked about too.
Yeah, so our consolidated tax, and that's, I'm going to go over it in total, but it's sales tax, and it's divvied up between our capital equipment and general fund. It's the main source of revenue for the general fund. I think about 63% of our revenues are from this consolidated tax. And those revenues were down about 4.8% compared to prior year FY24.
We've seen a series of declines, right, Julie?
Yes. The monthly, it varies, but that's the total for the year. And for the few months we've received so far in 26, we're still 5% lower than FY24.
And is that about $2 million, or is that?
The 4.8% for FY25 was $891,000.
Okay, so cumulatively, possibly it could be $2 million, but quarterly or for that?
That's for FY25 in total.
Oh, good. Okay, so it's not as bad as we projected.
No, we projected, so budgets were due in May. So projections were due by then. And in September, the state sent like a true-up payment.
That's what it was.
So that we weren't aware of.
They dug a hole for us.
Yes.
And we've been hearing, Julie, that we know the school district is in similar circumstances. The county of Elko is in as well. And we asked about the state accounting procedure. Are there organizations like the Nevada League of Cities? I know Commissioner Andriozzi mentioned Nevada Association of Counties. I think the school districts, I know that they're all working closely. They'd like to see some sort of an audit, for example. I mean, what's happening with our accounting?
Yeah, so we've been in communication with the state, trying to keep those channels open for any updates. And an audit of the state, I'm sure they go through an audit every year like we do, but that's kind of out of our control. But we are keeping in communication to stay on top of it.
Absolutely. And we've been talking to the Nevada League of Cities as well. And it isn't something that they wanted to take on yet, but I do think that they're very aware of it.
Okay. And so more to come on that topic, certainly, because it is impacting every municipality, every county, every school district, apparently in the state. So,
yes.
All right, Julie. Well, we'll get back on track because obviously we mentioned that enterprise funds, if we can make those pay for themselves, and there are, 5 different funds that are enterprise?
Yes, we have water, sewer, landfill, golf, and airport.
Okay. And in the past, we know our airport struggled and the golf has struggled, but Jan hinted, we have some good news about golf, right?
Yes, I didn't bring those funds. I brought let's see.
That's okay.
I have a lot of information on water.
Yes.
ARPA.
Yeah. And it's important to note, too, that it's also impacting budgets because ARPA money should be spent down by now, right? Because we're looking at a deadline.
Yes. So ARPA money was all spent by June 30. So all done going into FY26. ARPA had many projects completed, including the Ericart water line and grading project. There was the Exit 298 second source project, the hospital second source project, which put in a water main line and pressure reducing valve and established a secondary source to the hospital in case one is compromised.
And it's important to note that the city's investments have been in infrastructure, not only throughout the COVID recovery period, but even ongoing in places like Exit 298, because these are areas that are in line for growth. And so by making water, sewer, roads, that kind of thing available, then we'll be able to grow in those areas.
Yes.
So that budget will reflect what we're talking about here. So good to know. Of the enterprise funds, how about the airport? Or even if you don't have the numbers specifically, are we doing a little better? Or
yeah, so it looks like the airport fund had net program revenues in excess of expenditures, which is always great to see.
That is great to see. Even though, and Jan may be able to chime in on this, we have the Flight Alliance of Northeastern Nevada, and I think we're going to be reviewing those the subsidy, right, pretty soon? The minimum revenue guarantee?
The minimum revenue guarantee, yes.
Yes.
And so actually, I believe the contracts with SkyWest go through the end of December.
Okay.
So, yes, we're visiting with them again. And once those are negotiated, So they're split now. There are 2 flights, and I do think that's what helps the airport a little bit, that there's 2 flights. So that creates more revenue for the airport with landing fees and passenger facility charges and some things like that, which really do help the airport. And but anyway, there are 2 contracts for the minimum revenue guarantee, one for the midday flight, and that contract is with the city of Elko because it is provided through a SCASD grant, the Small Community Air Service Development Grant. And then the other contract is directly with the Flight Alliance of Northeastern Nevada, FAN. And the main, that organization is primarily there for flight to promote and maintain flights. If we didn't have that organization, I don't think we'd have any flights right now. And Elko County and Lander County and the city of Elko are the primary members of that organization.
Well, that's good news. And so we'll look forward to that being on an agenda. It sounds like in January. So
Yes.
yeah, thank you, Jan, for the update on that. But it's good to know that, as was intended, Julie, that's driving some numbers into the black at the airport. So that's what we
Yes,
wanted.
that's
So
great.
it's an investment by the community and the taxpayers, the businesses, those who are part of Flight Alliance, so that we can continue to maintain our flight service. So some of the problem areas we are hearing about, public employees retirement system. All the entities are concerned about that.
Yes, so that's a statewide statutory retirement plan. So kind of just an overview of the general fund. 73% of general fund expenditures are made up of wages and benefits. And the largest benefit is pension. So I think about $4.3 million was spent on pension contributions in FY25. And those rates are increasing, have increased in FY26. I have them.
She has a lot of papers, and
She
I know I do
has
too.
so much information,
and it's not
right?
making it any
So
easier.
for the police and fire, it went up 8.75% for
Wow.
fiscal
It
year
did.
26.
The increase for non-police fire members was lower. I think that increased from about 33% to 36.75%. So that's a big factor in the FY26 budget, is those increased contributions.
And that's driving declines in budgets across the board.
Statewide.
Yeah, statewide, city, county, Nevada system of higher ed, public education, right? All
Yes.
those costs. So, and those are, as you described, they're fixed cost by statute.
Yes.
So we can't just get on our soapbox and say, we're not going to pay that anymore. So
Right.
that is a benefit. So that's not really something that we can make a difference, but we can make a difference in C-tax, right, Julie? By shopping locally?
Yes, shopping local always helps the tax dollars stay in the community.
I noticed too that some people will say, well, I had to pay taxes when I shopped online, but those taxes, where did they go, Julie?
Here.
They do go to Elko. That's great news. By zip code?
They might have a different formula in the state. It might go through it, but it at least stays in the state. It's Nevada sales tax.
Oh, it's in Nevada, but it doesn't go to the county or the city. I mean, it could be part of the.
Yeah,
If
I
they
think
looked
it
at the
has
zip code,
it has a different the way it is allocated. I think it is a little bit different. I think if you buy it directly here at a vendor, we get exactly that amount.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you get it online, I think the allocation is a little different, and we don't get quite all of the exact amount from the expenditure.
Right.
So yeah, it's always great to shop local for sure, and then you're supporting our small businesses, and then they're able to purchase inventory and do different things that help our community as well.
and provides, special events like the Snowflake Festival and Parade of Lights on Saturday.
And
So
employs people too, right?
Yes.
It employs local people, and so definitely shop local.
So, Julie, I want to give you the opportunity just to kind of sum up how we're looking as compared to last year. How are we going into 2026?
So the general fund balance overall is down about 5%. Revenues are up about 4%. We weren't expecting the true up in September, and that was booked back to 25. So revenues for the C-tax were higher than we would expect, but fund balance is down, and that's not a trend we want to continue long term. The fund balance is designed to be there for future projects or to give reaction time if we hit a hard year like we did last year. So we'll be reviewing, keeping a close eye on going forward.
We do have to maintain a stabilization fund too by law, right?
Yes. That's an NRS.
Okay. And is that 8% or 4%? I can't remember.
I think the max is 8.
Okay, the max is 8.
Percent of expenditures.
Maybe no lower than 4, or something.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Floor is the floor.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why I know those things. I can't remember to get milk at the grocery store, but I can remember them. So I want to make sure that you got to describe everything you were hoping to, Julie. Good news, bad news. Again, I think this reflects a lot of work on the budget and being very conscientious of spending, Julie.
Yes, we take spending of public funds very seriously, and we work with departments to prioritize. And we'll be jumping right into our FY27 budget cycle pretty soon, where we'll be working on our 5-year plans.
And that'll tell us more, Jan, about what things we can afford. But we're not looking at reductions of employees. Still looking at capital projects. There's some progress.
Absolutely. So, like Julie said, there's the general fund, and then there's all these other funds, right? So sometimes, if you have a capital construction project, well, that fund, we've been accumulating funds in capital construction and our facility fund for big projects, and so they have some fund balance in those. Whereas the general fund is really, I would say, what we're most concerned about.
Yeah.
Like you were talking, I think we kind of had the perfect storm in fiscal year 25. The revenues were going down, the expenses were going up, and then PERS is going to hit. And so with our budget for fiscal year 26, we had budgeted the fund balance to decrease almost a third. Which would take us from 15 million to 10 million. And so just easy math tells you have 2 more years. So we're hopeful, though, that the C-tax hopefully will rebound, and there's really nothing we can do about the pension expense. It's going to be there, and very seldom does PERS decrease rates. We've seen it before, but I don't anticipate it. And so we just need to be very conscientious of our spending and make sure that we're not adding to costs unnecessarily.
Jan, thank you. This will all be presented with the chance for City Council members and the Mayor to ask questions during this afternoon's 4 o'clock meeting, and it is on the agenda. Julie, thank you for your time. And
thank you.
Yeah, and for all your work year-round and on the budget. And
I would just like to also voice that. So thank you to Julie. She has a whole team. They do a really excellent job, and we're lucky to have them.
I guess the last question I have, and it's not even on the agenda, do you remember, Jan, because the county is now looking at the Wells Fargo building, do you remember why the city passed on that? Because we had a feasibility on it, right?
There was a feasibility, and that was when Curtis was still there. But I do remember it coming to council, and I believe what they had determined was the cost to rehabilitate that building or make it what the city wanted it to be, I guess, which would have been a lot of offices. It would have been a city hall, right? So they would have had to really reconfigure that building. And through that analysis and that feasibility study, they came through and said they thought that a new building would be more economical and maybe better for the long term.
All right.
So I think that's where they came out on that, or we came out, I should say. And so then now we're looking at a design of a new city hall.
All right. Mm-hmm. So more to come. Again, that's what this radio show is for. Thank you for Jan for remembering that. And thank you, Julie. Julie Davis, our Financial Services Director. Jan Baum, our City Manager, our guest here on Elko Live today. City Council meets at 4 o'clock in regular session at City Hall. You can follow along online, elkocity.com.